Kyriakos Alexander Sampak. He's a half Greek and half Arab young poet, too young, almost 22, 23, and already wrote 3 books, I think. Ο σκληρός. Κάθε μέρα το έμαθα. Σε κάθε σου λέξη, σε κάθε εμφάνιση. Σε μία έκφραση. Να με τσιγκλάει εδώ στα αριστερά. Προς τα πάνω και βαθιά. Να με κυριεύει και να επιταχύνει. Τη σκέψη, την αναπνοή. Και το πιο επικίνδυνο, τη φαντασία. Σε κάθε γεια, φούτωνε ό,τι είχα λησμονημένο. Τις μελωδίες που έπλεκα εγκόμιο στη φύση. Στη ζωή που μου έδωσαν ως δώρο ευχοκατάρας. Σε κάθε αντίο, έσβηνα βία και λυσασμένα. Όπως η θάλασσα ορμά σε μια τόση δάφλογίτσα. Να προλάβει την πυρκαγιά. Που μπορεί και όχι να με αφανίσει. Το ένιωθα εδώ ψηλά. Και από εδώ στα αριστερά. Σαν χτύπημα βροντερό σε πόρτα. Όταν στεκόσουν άλλοτε εδώ και άλλοτε εκεί, λίγο να με ξεσκίζει. Δεν σ' άφησε να το γνωρίζεις. Πως λίγο σε ερωτευόμουν. Πως λίγο σε μισούσα. Είμαι σκληρός εγώ. Ονείρου απειθής. Εκδόσεις άλλος. Poetess I love. She's one of my poetic kids, I would say. She participated to all my events, to organize poetic events in internet, and organized the Big Poet event for 2 years on Google on Air for Colin and Debbie. Παγκόσμια ειρήνη. Ειρήνη, it's peace. 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 Ειρήνη. Μύρισε για ασθενείς στις γειτονιές του κόσμου και εγλύκανε τις καρδιές των σκληρών. Έγιναν τα όπλα νεροπίστολα και πότισαν την ξεραμένη αμυγδαλιά. Δρόσισε τα λόγια των φτωχών και φούσκωσαν τα μάγουλα των παιδιών με μέλι. Ειρήνη. Και χαμογέλασε ο παππούς στο σκαλοπάτι. Γέμισαν οι τσέπες τους λουλούδια τα παιδιά. Και οι πέτρες κατρακύλησαν. Ανάμνηση του παρελθόντος για τους καλούς παραμυθάδες. Ειρήνη. Κι άπλωσα τα χέρια. Σε εντόνια να ενώσουν μαγνότητα τις ψυχές μας και να πετάξουν τα περιστέρια ψηλά πάνω από τα μαύρα σύννεφα. Ειρήνη. Είμαι εγώ που χτυπώ την πόρτα σας. Ανοίξτε. Ειρήνη. Είμαι εγώ το όνειρο του παιδιού, του νέου και του γέρου. Ειρήνη. Ακούστε την ανάσα μου. Είναι πιο δυνατή από το θάνατο. Ειρήνη.
And next we have John Milky, honors Laureate Gallery, that we're all disgraced to be with today.
Nervous in my own gallery. So, thanks everybody for coming out, and to make this a special place, I need you to be a part of it. Not just to come once or something. And this is a family-run gallery, if you've ever heard such a thing. And the other day, I was talking to my daughter. I said, "What's the purpose of a gallery in our culture?" And I had a fantastic, complicated answer for her that had to do with keeping track of current events and stuff like that. And she thought of it and she said, the purpose is to reach someone. That's pretty good. But that's what it's about. Anything that you have to express in this gallery, comfortable or uncomfortable, that happens. So that's part of it, the human expression. So I'm from Texas, and my cowboy days kind of keep coming back to me in my poems. horses and stuff like that, but I'm from the South, and my ancestor fought in the Civil War, and he had 13 horses shot out from under him. And the stuff that's been going on in Charlottesville, it kind of goes deep in this country, and it seems like that we haven't stopped fighting the war. And so I'm an artist. I do monuments, and Robert E. Lee never wanted a monument to himself because he felt like it would keep the wounds open in the division. So, but I love the horse that he's riding in that monument, and it'd be kind of neat if we had a monument to the horses. So anyway, this is about Traveler, or it's for Traveler. Muscle catches light in bronze, the soft bend of your neck, willing to go into battle, the voice of his direction, and all around you the chaos human swirl from the rivers of the mind. Thoughts form into blood you have stepped through. Hard now even for you to tell the difference between sides, dying in which pool of regret. As the smell of hate lingers for a long time in your nostrils, as another death is miscounted. The North and the South don't mean nothing to you. The North and the South have no meaning to you. Only North, South, East, and West. The rising and setting sun. The direction of the wind across your chest. Frozen in mid-stride. Your silhouette only muscle against sky. Wanting only to change direction. Wanting only to come back home. The other thing about a gallery is, we deal with what happens locally. That's kind of a big issue, the thing that's gone on in Charlottesville. But also, I don't know about you, but I drive by and I see these little fields around that I love, and I fear for them because it's always, I don't know, they always seem to get built with something, a Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. And so there's a field up the way here on East Main if you keep going out toward Home Depot, that area. It's got a beautiful stone in the middle of it that shows in the winter. It doesn't show when the grass is high, but I wrote a poem about that field. It's called Field of Their Own. My eyes need a place to call their own, to rest upon, on the stone somewhere near the center of this field of their own. My eyes need a place to stop and pretend to be something I'm not. Make believe the two cows that appear every spring are mine, to tend, to fatten into glory mine eyes. And through the forest behind forest, there are more fields till you get to the castle of all is right in the world. This world, the only one, across from Home Depot, Sullivan Ford, Job Lot. The stone amid the green grass speaks the language of forever, at least for now, right now, in that long streak of light. So long as there are cows, there will be cowboys. The other little mission of the gallery, I got bad news for you, you might already know this, but of all 50 states for happiness, they got ranked by this guy. And so where do you think Connecticut is for happiness?
72.
Well, very close here, but we're 49th.
Yay!
Yeah. So 49th. New York is 50, DC is 51st.
Oh, yeah.
So Noelke Gallery, this is a conceptual gallery, so I can't have it. I can't stand being 49th. I actually wouldn't mind being last. But I say we either go head for dead last, that's the shortest thing. Or we make a run at it. We've got to do something, guys. We cannot be 49th here. So, you know, so this is, I'm speaking the whole state of Connecticut, if, you know, this point. We've got to do something here. We can't be behind Rhode Island, Jersey. I mean, we got to do something. So this is my attempt. The Noelke Gallery is attempting to cheer up the entire state tonight. They've done it in Texas. In Texas, you're born with a map of Texas, like branded into your brain, and you know, it's just all about Texas, you know. And so this map of Connecticut, I mean, we just got to do something, guys. So I don't mind, like I said, being last, but we got to do something. So I'm trying to cheer everybody up. So this is for Connecticut, not 49. It's an emergency. We got to do something now. You'll be needing a good horse. And if you see a boat on the side of the road, buy it now. Pull over. There is no tomorrow. Paint it red. And we gotta stop talking about global warming at the dinner table too. Connecticut is too small to be the real cause of it anyway. There is no tomorrow. We all have got to quit our jobs. Do not tell me I'm being unrealistic. The native people did it for 10,000 years. They lived off fish in the river. We can do the same thing. Let's build a giant raft, all of us together. Huck Finn was invented here in the mind of a man. Pull in the same direction. Then we'll go to sea, to the sound. I declare you all fishermen. Don't you feel better? Come on! Be happy, your state of Connecticut. Look up, laugh, and stop looking for love in clever, cautious ways. Be the dog. Come running. Jump in the lap of your lover. Your lover, now jobless, now broke. Blaming you. Blaming me. Blame me. Blame Noelke Gallery. Go ahead. The whole state unemployment rate hits 100%. The real figure, much worse. Oh, shit! Just face it. Let's face it. We're miserable. Certifiable. Let's just make up our minds to be dead last. There's an honor in that. We'll be the Tom Waits of the United States. The Tom Waits state. Good on the internet. Welcome to the Tom Waits state. Just give up our healthy diets, all this walking, low carb, organic, buy local. Let's just drink those little whiskey nip bottles. Don't even try to hide them. Spiral down, 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 past New York, past DC. But we'll keep our jobs. Pay our bills, taxes, show up. I knew we couldn't do it. Didn't you, stupid raft idea, stupid Mark Twain. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, said, there can be no happiness without sadness and unhappiness. So if you look at it that way, we actually have got some weird statistical advantage on the nation. having this real good, solid grasp on unhappiness, misery, After all, we're damn near best in the nation. But you'll be needing that good horse. One that's athletic but calm. Will agree to meet at midnight. Horseback. Wear all black. Full moon. Listen. Coyote Wolf leads the drive. No talking. Just the sound of hoofbeats. Horse's breath. We'll swim the river. The Connecticut River. Bring your courage. We'll sneak around ever so quiet. Let all the cows go. Let them out. Let them out. Return the state to free range.
Ζω κάτω από τα νύχια μου, τα χνάρια όλα της εσωτίας μου εδώ. Ξύσματα παλιών πληγών, στραβωραμένων, δαρμένοι έρωτες και στραγγισμένοι κάτω. Φρίκες παρεκκλίνοντος μυαλού στα μαύρα του δρομήνου νύχια, που δεν έμαθαν να φέρονται οι κύριοι βελούδινοι σαν φρουιζελέ, ελεήμονες σαν αντίδωρα, μονότονοι σαν φάσεις της ειρήνης, πιστικοί σαν όρκος, αποτελεσματικοί σαν κάτσα. Μακραίνουν τα νύχια μου, μακραίνουν από τη βρώμα και κυρτώνουν, κρατεά σαν κοινόβολες και γαψά όπως το βλέμμα του Λουκιάνου. Στα νύχια μου είναι η μαύρη λέρα, κι ούτε γαμής ούτε χασίσει πια στη μαγική μου σφαίρα, μόνο ένα ξεκάθαρο τελείωμα σαν διαθήκη. Ουρανία Βασιλάκη. She's a young poet. She participated in my event. Γροθιά. Δύναμη, πυγμή, θέληση, πείσμα, πίστη, σύνεση, λέξεις δυνατές, με πνεύμα μαχητικό, στοιχεία του παρελθόντος που έρχονται στο προσκήνιο. Η ιστορία δεν σταματά να γράφεται, ώρα να αφήσει και η δική μας η γενιά μια παρακαταθήκη. Ενωμένοι, δεμένοι όλοι σε διαγροθιά γερή, και όσα φέρει ο καιρός, αρκεί ένα να είμαστε. Πίστεψέ και θα γίνει. Τα όνειρα πραγματώνονται όταν αληθινά τεθές.
Next we have James, welcome to the mic, James P. Wagner, the poet laureate of Long Island and the editor of the poetry book Anthology Books.
My name is actually pronounced Pimpin Paddle Opsicopoulos III. So, they sound that out a little bit. It's why, since I got here, I've been called Wagnerian, Wagner, Wagner, which is funny. It reminds me of what my high school chess instructor used to say. He told me I would walk into the room, he'd be like, Wagnerian opera. Like just, you know, my name's Wagner, but that's what he called me.
The Lord of the Rings.
What?
The Lord of the Rings.
Ah, there you go. So, actually going to read a poem about chess club. It's very, very instructive title. It's called Chess Club. In case you didn't see that coming. What a bunch of characters we had in Chess Club. Future lawyers, athletes, foreign students who seem bored with most of the other clubs, some bad players, some good players, some really good players. Mr. Ritz, a Spanish teacher, heading up our eclectic group of sort of misfits, constantly telling us we were there because we had no friends, with that cheeky smirk of his. A great instructor, playing him made me a much stronger player. Unlike the teacher at the previous chess club I'd been a part of, Mr. Ritz was not afraid to completely destroy us and tear our games apart. His honesty made us want to improve, and it showed by the fact that we took in more trophies each year than the football team in my entire 4-year high school stint. I was first bored in my senior year, probably thanks to the constant lunchtime games in the Spanish resource room. It was a title I was proud of, despite the fact that, unlike the football team, we didn't get a pep rally, or cheerleaders, or even a bus half the time. To go to the other schools, to face their teams, we actually had to travel in the back of Mr. Ritz's car more often than not, which technically was illegal, but shh, I won't tell anyone, if you won't. It was a fun, safe haven for all of us, Wednesday afternoons after school, and even though I still played chess online, still play in a league with the retired guys down in my library, still meet up with some of my chess club buddies, and occasionally still see even Mr. Ritz for a game here or there was nothing like my high school chess club or the games that we played while we had it. Anybody wants to play chess online with me? I hate microphones, which is just, I hate you. 15 songs. In 2001, my sophomore year of high school, I got the new Gorillaz CD. They were a cool band with cool songs, and this CD had 15 of them. So thankful we come so far from the days of records, 8-track tapes, cassettes. My CD player came with me everywhere. Went through the anguish of trying to fit this big round device into regular-sized pockets. I listened to the songs while walking in the hallway between classrooms. I had my favorites on the CD, of course, but I listened to all of them. Got to know all of them. Just me and the band's music. Little did I know that by the time of my 10-year high school reunion, the devices we'd have would be 15 times smaller, hold over 15,000 songs on them, and that it wouldn't be very often that somebody listened to an entire album anymore. I'm gonna recite a poem now that I didn't write. You didn't hear me all weekend. I'm sick of me. You're probably sick of me. So this one's actually a poem by a poet named Taylor Molley, and it's called The Impotence of Proofreading. Go do it for memory. If I skip some, if you know it, don't blame me. Has this ever happened to you? You work very, very hard on a pepper for English class, but you still get a very low rate on it, like a D or even a D equals. And all because you're the worst speller in the Wales wide word. I myself was such a bed stiller once upon a term that my English torturer in my sophomoric year, Mrs. Smith, told me I was never going to get into a good colleague. And that's all I wanted. That's all anyone wants at that age, just to get into a good colleague. And not just anal community colleague either. No, I didn't want to go to anal community colleague. I needed to be challenged. Challenged menstrually. I needed a place that would offer me intellectual simulation. I know this probably makes me sound like a stereo, but if I did not improvement, then gone would be my dream of going to Hartford, jail, or prison. You know, in prison, New Jersey. So I got myself a spell checker and thought I was on Sleazy Street. However, there are several missed aches that a spell checker can't catch. For instance, if you accidentally leave out word, your spell checker won't put it in you. And God, for billing purposes only, you should have serial problems with Tory spelling. It might put in a word you had no intention of using. No intention at all. I mean, what do you want it to douche? No, it only does what you tell it to douche. I mean, you're someone sitting there in front of the computer screen with your hand on the mouth going click, click, click. Just because to show you how embargo one careless little clit of the mouth can be, which reminds me, there's one time during my junior mint, no, I'm serial. My English professor read my pepper on a sale of 2 titties. She read it out loud in front of all of my ass mates. It was humidifying. It was the most humidifying experience I ever had being laughed at like that publicly. So, when it comes to spell checking, please remember these few rules. 1, there is no prostitute for proofreading your own peppers. No prostitute whatsoever. And 3, when it comes to spell checking, the red penis, your friend. Thank you.
Ευτυχία Καπαρδέλη. She is a poet that she wrote in English and Greek a long time ago, and she wins international prizes. Έρωτας. Χύθηκε το άρωμα, η μέγιστα της ειδονής παρταράς των κρίνων της σπορά. Γερμένο στην αγκαλιά σου, στον σπαρκτικό ύμνο το θηλιό σου, αποκοιμιέμαι γλυκά. Ω Θεά της ομορφιάς, η αίρια της λευκότητας. Στις αγάπης την ειδονή των ενστίκτων μυστική ναή, και εκείνος ο ψήθυρος πόθος, στο ευλίγιστο σώμα, στο αναστέναγμα, στο πάλεμα, στις αγάπης την οδύνη. And now, Eleni Sept, a poetess that writes beautiful poems in Greece, and she writes a lot of poems. This one is called Galini, Serenity, and it is about what else? The sea, θάλασσα. Αστράφτη η θάλασσα στον ήλιο, το κύμα αργά με αναλύσει. Η αγάπη σου με πλημμυρίζει και θέλω τόσα να σου στείλω. Λόγια που δύσκολα τα λέω και όσο με ζώνει το μοιραίο, αισθάνομαι να παραλύω. Ήλιο στα μάτια σου να δείω. Γαλήνη η σκέψη σου χαρίζει στην ταραγμένη τη ζωή μου. Είσαι η χαρά, η αναπνοή μου, είσαι η σφαίρα που σφυρίζει. Σφαίρα που η αγάπη έχει γομώσει με έρωτα, πόθο και σαγίνη. Να με πληγώσει και να μείνει, σημάδι πάνω στην ψυχή μου. Νόημα η αγάπη σου μου δίνει. Κι όλα μαζί σου είναι γαλήνη.
Okay, next we have William DeVault, the National Beat Poetry Laureate, and he will come up here with them.
I might get suddenly shy and decide I'm not going to come up. You never know. Poets are allowed to get shy, aren't they?
Yes.
I tell you, it's funny, when I was young, I thought all writers were shy, because instead of talking to people, they'd write it down. And then I went to a poetry reading, and I went, no, they're not shy. They're just composing their thoughts before presenting them to the world. As she said, my name is William F. DeVault. I am, for the next year, your God. I'm the U.S. National Beat Poet Laureate, which means I'm already using that to contact people and say, hey, I'm the U.S. National Beat Poet Laureate, you need me at your festival. And they're going, eh. Before I read a couple poems, I'd like to say a couple things about a couple people. First off, Mama Beat, Debbie Kilday. She is the mechanism, she is the motive force, she's the lubrication that drives the whole machine forward.
It sounds porno.
It's just a love machine.
She's just a love machine.
Anyway, Colin, Papa Beat, what can I say?
What, you're not going to give him any room?
silly enough as he is. And a couple people not associated with this event. First off, I plug her every time I talk. The lady they call my constant collaborator, Maria Andrejchuk, who does a lot of the covers and content for my magazines and books. And somebody that most of you have probably never heard of, a young poet from New Orleans named Dylan Krieger. She just released her first book less than a month ago called Giving God Head. It was immediately reviewed by the New York Times Review of Books, which said it was the best poetry book of 2017.
Wow.
She's like 28 years old, and she makes us all look like schmoes. And, but she proved karma, because right after her book, Giving God Head, came out, she came down with the worst case of tonsillitis you've ever heard of. And she's going in the hospital next week to have them removed. So she has seen the humor in that too. This anthology, which Mr. Wagner has in back, is terrific. It's got all of the poet laureates from this year in it, including me, surprisingly enough, despite my tendency to ramble on for 4 and 5 pages in a poem. And I'd like to do one of the poems out of this and a couple out of my magazine, and then I'll leave the rest of the afternoon to all you guys who want to get up here and get your quick 5-10 minute fix of audience adulation. Okay? Most of you, okay, I won't qualify that. Some of you have heard of Donald Hall. Former poet laureate of the United States. Terrific guy. I once read, the first poem of his I ever read was called I Do Poetry. I hated it. I hated it. And then I went back and read it a couple years later. I went, this is pretty good. So I wrote a poem in the style of that poem on a bet from a friend. He said, who do you not really like among the current scene? I said, well, I have problems with Donald Hall. He goes, pick a poem of his and write something in the same style. It's not exactly the same style, but it captured the cadence of his poem, I Do Poetry. And it's called I Rain Poetry. And yes, I'm not using the microphone on purpose. I apologize if you can't hear me. I'll just talk louder if anybody complains. I hate microphones. There is no fear on the edge. Joy. Joy is what I find in the instants between moments when my feet are touching nothing but the sky. And the rocks recede to return, sooner or later, driven by grave gravity and the intemperate nature of natural law. But, in the present moment, leaping from precipice to precipice, I am reborn, triggered and transfigured, worn away are the chains of, the pains of, the stains of mortal mediocrity. And I am one with the clouds. And I rain poetry. For that is my nature. As you turn your face skyward to catch a few drops on a tongue parched by the dry air of memory and the sun of shallow sentiments, sold in the Hallmark rack in the name of mass seduction. And I rain poetry. To irrigate the fields of forever and make them ready for the seeds planted without your realizing it, when you waved to me as I ran the cliffs, high above the plains of stale acceptance, and danced, and danced, and danced like a hurricane at the thought of you, naked in the rain. And I rained poetry, bringing the thunder at the appropriate moment, when all other senses were spent, and only sound could penetrate the wet shell of overloaded synapses, what passes for the echo. Yes, I meant to say what, not that. I have had critics say, you put that, what? You should have said that. No, screw you, that's what I meant. What passes for the echo of fire that surged and purged the very ions of our irony. And I rained poetry, calling the winds to lift me, to gift me with the words that you would carry, eroded into your sandstone soul. Never more a monolith, but an aggregate of your essence with flecks of my pitchblende, bound to you by eloquence that quenched an ancient thirst, cursed to you in a garden you will never see, except in the mirages of the maelstrom. And I rained poetry, and it was nothing compared to a single honest kiss. But it was, in the absence of passion, a worthy golem in the armies of solitude. Up on the cliffs, where I still dance with the winds and call the thunder, even when no one watches or cares or dares to dance along. But that's my nature. I won to that, so. This is my magazine, Emma-Mancies. I carry this issue around with me all the time. I call it the crossbreed between a literary magazine and the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, because I have a lot of friends who are models, and they like my poetry, and they say, can I have something to do with your poetry? And I say, sure, be in my magazine. And then I get poets to send in poems, and I try and match them up, and sometimes the results are stultifyingly bad. And sometimes they're very good, but the poets tend to be very good. Just the matching sometimes defeats me, which is why I generally don't put out my shingle as an editor. But many years ago, I wrote a cycle of cycles. I used to write in cycles of poetry, 7 poems at a time. And I wrote a cycle of cycles called the Golden Heart Cycles, which was about longing for perfect romance. Inspired a little bit by Neil Young's Heart of Gold, which that song still makes me a little mental when I hear it. And the final poem to the whole cycle of cycles was Bare Feet on a Wooden Floor. And people went nuts over it. And that always makes me a little crazy when I write a poem and people love it, because it's like, what did I do right in this one that I didn't do right in the last one? The last 246 poems I wrote and went, and then this one you go, oh my God. I still haven't figured this one out. But this one's called Bare Feet on a Wooden Floor. I ate a daisy today to settle a bet between my child and my wife if I could or would. Daddy is not so ancient that he has forgotten the value of play in the lurking wild of a newly discovered world. Mommy has been patient, but loves and lives for and with this world. And late at night, while our children sleep, goes on a date with me in the kitchen, dancing strange emotions stored in cookie jar hearts that never break. Bare feet on a wooden floor. I'm like, what did I do right that time? I'll do one more, then I'll get out of your hair. Do we want something heavy, light, passionate, or not so passionate? I'll take recommendations.
Passionate.
Like,
Heavy.
Slightly passionate.
Not like everything.
combination.
Passion.
Speak your passion. Blue. All right, you guys aren't ready for that one. You guys can recommend that one. This poem has an amazing story behind it. And I'll tell the story because I'm not one of those people who just gets up here and reads a poem and then walks away. Got it framed. Long time ago, I lived in LA. And I kept telling myself, I gotta get a pocket recorder, because sometimes poems just come to me like a cough. Oh, look, it's a poem. And if I'm not with pen and paper, I can't write it down. And I hadn't bought one yet. And I was driving home from Century City to Venice Beach, where I lived. And this poem started to come to me. And I'm like, I didn't have pen or paper. I was in traffic. So I started chanting it to me as it came out. And I kept chanting the poem to myself all the way home. Ran in the door and wrote it down as best I could. In the arms of the dragon, I kissed the beauty of your complexities. Your scars are a familiar terrain to my lips, cut as they have been 1,000 times for greater and lesser crimes unpentenced. I do not doubt your beauty. And in the arms of the dragon, you fit like a gem in the forehead of a smiling Buddha, alive and dreaming of new winds yet to blow. And yet, you seem to know where, if not when, they will take you, make you all that you already are in the arms of the dragon. Thank you all very much. Once again, Krissa. Every time I pronounce your name, I feel like I'm watching My Big Fat Greek Wedding. That's the father who's always insistent upon everything he's saying correctly.
I've now recited 2 poems that I must recite because they are written for me. One of them is from a young friend, Soso Zero, and the other from an old friend. And I'm very moved about these poems. Για τη Χρύσα. Είναι κάτι κορίτσια που φεύγουν πιο μακριά και ζεσταίνουν περισσότερο από τα άλλα. Υπάρχουν κάτι κορίτσια που δεν μένουν σιωπηλά όταν νυχτώνει, που μαγικά αποκόπηκαν από τη ζωή που ξέρεις. Κορίτσια που άντεξαν να κουμπίσουν τη βαθιά κρυμμένη τρέλα σου, λες και από την κοιλιά τους την ξέρανε και αυτοί. Υπάρχουν κορίτσια πιο σκληρά και πιο ζεστά από τα άλλα, που ζήσανε χρόνια με τηρούμενα προγράμματα. Αυτά τα φρόνημα κι άξια που όλα τα έκαναν σωστά στις μικρές ζωούλες τους, που κανείς δεν θα θυμάται. Υπάρχουν κορίτσια πιο σκληρά και πιο ζεστά από αυτά που ξέρεις. Κάτι κορίτσια που αφήσανε το σπίτι τους για να τρέξουν να συναντήσουν τύπους επικίνδυνους που και αυτούς δεν τους ξέρεις. Γιατί ποτέ δεν ήθελες να ξέρεις τέτοιους τύπους και που δεν ταιριάζουν στη ζωή σου. Κάποια κορίτσια τους αγκάλιασαν και τους χάρισαν μουσική. Ξέρω κάτι κορίτσια φλογερά, που σιγουρκέ τις νύχτες σε δωμάτια που δεν φαντάζεσαι. Φεγκοβολούν οι γειτονιές από το πυρακτωμένο φως του μαρτυρίου τους. Και αντέχουν να αγαπούν την τρέλα τους, την τρέλα σου. Κορίτσια που πέταξαν νωρίς για άλλα μέρη και γύρισαν σπίτι αργά, με παιδιά στην αγκαλιά τους και ανάστησαν ζωή και αναστήθηκαν. Είδα κορίτσια να μην ξέρουν πού να πάνε και να προχωρούν τυφλά στα δύσκολα. Έχω αγγίξει κορίτσια τέτοια που δεν θα άντυχες, κορίτσια που προχώρησαν και δεν πήραν πουθενά, και άλλα που αστέρια έπιασαν χωρίς να βγουν από την κουζίνα τους. Μάγισσες μάνες που ποτέ δεν μεγάλωσαν. Τα φθαρτά τους κορμάκια ο χρόνος ομόρφινε. Τα μαλλιά τους μπλεγμένα στις ποίησεις το έγκλημα. Μάγισσες μάνες που ποτέ δεν μεγάλωσαν. Their hair... No, I cannot. Sorry, I'm moved. Anyway. And the other one, Katerina Schidzi-Hadroulou. In fact, she's playing with my name. Χρύσα. Χρυσοπίκυλτο μετάξι, το πρώτο βλέμμα. Σκίετημα κοινής γλώσσας, συνωμοσία θετικής επαφής, συνομιλία εσωτερικής παραδοχής. Εδώ κάτι παράξενο συμβαίνει. Σε συναντώ σας εκεί που μυθικό, εκεί που κανείς δεν το περιμένει. Συμπολεμίστρια, μαχόμενη, οικίδρια ματωμένη, αγέροχα περιφερόμενη, με λάφυρα ψήγματα λέξεων φορτωμένη. Χήμαρο ζωής, σε μια αιώρα φωλιασμένη. Χρύσα εσύ φιλιππιητική, χρυσόσκονη, καλοκαιρινή στην άνυδρη επιβίωση, απελπιστικά φωτεινή χρυσαλίδα της σιωπής, που όλο κάτι εγκυμονής, χρυσαυγή της σκοτεινιάς κάποιας ραγισμένης καρδιάς, χρυσοστόλιστος κραδασμός ψυχής, άμεση γλυκιά ζεστή, γήινα μητρική, γοητευτικά αφοπλιστική, απίστευτα ειδipαθής, αληθινά παλόμενη από ευλογημένες λέξεις και αισθήματα σιωπές. Αχ, αυτές οι σιωπές που θέλεις όλα μέσα τους να τα χωρέσεις. Πες, λες, χρυσοπίκυλτο μετάξι ανακάλυψες και θες με μιας τα ισοψυχά σου πάνω του με μάτινα λόγια να κερδίσεις. Είναι όμως τόσο λαμπερά χρυσό το μετάξι αυτό που δεν προκάνεις τίποτα, περίτεχνο να υφάνεις, μόνο τον πόνο σου, τα δάκρυά σου, πάνω μέσα στα χρυσά νήματα της παράστασης, να βιάσεις Ελπίζω τα χρυσά νάματα από την ψυχή της να εισπράξει.
And next, we have Sauter, right? From Laureate from Colorado, all the way here. Out. I'm going to try to read it off the thing, and if I splat it, well, that's it. But the first one, I want to read it. It's from. It was probably written most of it in 1970. God, 5, 6, and it has a picture of my brother Jim. And I swimming in the Farmington River right before they figured out it was full of PCBs. But I don't know if I can do this the way it is, but I'm going to try it. And let me see. I'm sure I can. Okay, it has an epigraph. It's called Mindlessness in 3 parts. And it has an epigraph from the Boston Globe. And it has a quote. Disorderly conduct. Jacques Lafont, 58, of 246 Newberry Lane, Newton, Massachusetts, was found dead. No, he was found. I can try this. He was found, he got a DWI and was scheduled to appear in court the following day. The practice of mindlessness. Finally, oh God, blessed be the holy shut it up and the babble of Brooks and of time's refusal to take its leave. Please take this mindfulness, keep it from me until it requires no response. I'm listening to the years as they lap, as they flap, as they tap on the roof like hail, becoming, turning, flattened, splatter, then gone, raindrops running races as if to test the pressure, the metal of the green boards of our contentment's deck. But oh no, the commentary is running. It is banging, snapping, electric cords clip and tap as miles, as decades of circumstances as the unavailable is overturned. Deserted and abandoned, deep within quarried minds, set away so far from here, down these roads where we had driven, hot and hauling, a U-Haul of our notebooks, our guitars, your bike, miles of me, rewound and backwards on your lap, outflying even the magpies, with their rainbows of black, feathers and oil in my mouth, greasy and easy as a torso, a back barely making contact with the steering wheel. Feeling encircled now, in the throes of a winding road round the disappearing, a plague of the rain down, toads dancing on the kind of water that parts even Prince's sternum to tea kettle, streaming from the insides of New Mexico's pavement so confidently before our running wheels, our asphalt mirage, always ahead, always as thin as air, as thick as tongues tied with leather thong on the tides of ancient oceans, as riotous as limbs, sleeping lambs lie in the once saline insanity, now revealing only the scorpioned seabeds where we had bed, covered in the smoky scent of mutton, the sublime to burn of Pozole Rojo, of the desert, then on and on, across the mountains, the plains, drifting on the fire of escape until there was none to. Coming to, working to, in just any of some other Olympic diner, on the Berlin, on the turnpike, dressed in waitress white prayer, a shirt, black pants, the damned contractors, laughing in the red vinyl, surreal, special of the day, as in today, when that very same fucking old sun comes as they walk away without paying for that
pork, a regular, as in normal, as in my table, as in my ticket, as in my order, called in, as whiskey, as toast, as leaving me an empty $8 tip, collecting my wages, flat 10, cash, copper tips from the drunks on the graveyard ship, turnpike. Don't register with the fat Greek behind the checkout, his blood staining his veins, cold as the drive-in's darkness, as the empty bars, leaving me and my $2 after paying for the chops with customer satisfaction, safe, lips sealed behind the mirrored stainless steel backstop doors, only a storm in the port, hole of yet another late-night smeared Windex repellent window, behind you, darling, changing shifts, changing minds, orders traded like seats, all just as plastic and tacky rag wiped with ketchup and grease, black as my pants, now stuck to my thighs, heavy as cement, pavement traded for the dark of the corner. Yeah, a booth, but yeah, I'm still counting quarters in the burn from the coffee, only shape shifts, the graveyard sighs, the ghosts of exhaustion, ink-redged jailhouse tats on my naive wrists, printing directional signs on my no-tray arms like railroad tracks, like pancakes stacked, plated with bacon and the romantic spray from the toggle, permanently bun-burned into the thick white, saucered eyes of coffee, cups, red branded rims around lipstick on the G-clef staff as the busboys all say, Claro, Claro, order up. You in the parking lot, 7 a.m., pick me up to drop me off past some other frog, hollow, where the other French-Canadian sheet weekend rockers and contractors wait for you to dump your McDonald's coffee into your Stanley stainless thermos. Me dumped at the tent, that heat melting my skin to butter as sleep burns into my eyes, as our soft shoulders and hips sink into the black and tan plaid of a California cold flannel sleeping bag. Naked anyway, fuck 'em 5 feet away from their air-conditioned house. I hear the rear wheel spray gravel as you leave for work. You sweat, my sweet sweat drip, and the salty streams stitch seams down into my sides, into the once magic 8 bald corners of my now felted mouth. The sun beats, heat relentless on the drum skins of the canvas sky, then drunk, near dusk, and covered in the white dust of somebody else's fancy walls. You, your light brown hair with our newfound sense of domesticity, fastened with spackle, cut with scissors, measured 3 inches as your hair is a piece of cardboard, fall spinning into spent damp curls as if it were all happening, as if it were real, and it is not, and we are not. 3, I want the helmet with the face guard. Only hours till work, and I don't want bug blotch or split lip rocks. You don't care. We both spit gravel as you turn the bike onto the road any other way. At the river we gather, all blue at the end of the day, evening jeaned and cutoffs, 20-somethings caught between night and day, work and sleep, sex and yes, the need for money. On that bank of failing light, bare-toed we sit, stuck between confusion and resignation, until you climb out onto that limb, strip yourself down naked to nothing, drop it all, grab the rope, and turn a magnificent triple flip, diving dark into the thick rippling, the quiet PCB wetness of the Farmington River. Thank you.
Richmond, the toll lawyer from Massachusetts. That's what I was saying. I was going to say, what do you want
couple from the book, and some of these that are in here are from my various books, so I try to give a little samples of all the different things. A well-dressed man and a dog. A well-dressed man and a dog walked into a bar, and the bartender said, "He looks a little mean. He looks like he won't listen to anyone. And he looks like he'll kill for no reason. And I don't want him shitting and pissing in every corner. And can you get him to stop humping the bar stool?" And the dog said, "You can dress him up, but he is who he is." The card game. People have been playing this game for generations. Many just didn't know they were playing. You know you're playing when someone says, "Are you playing the race card? Are you playing the sex card? Are you playing I should feel guilty card? I was dealt the cancer card. I'm playing get out of the jail card. I have the power card. I win the argument card. Some play I believe in the Jesus card. Some are making up their own deck." The person on the phone said, "Sir, I am not allowed to talk to you. I can't give you any information or tell you anything since we don't find the papers you say you filled out 5 times. All I wanted to do was cancel some appointments, stop medication coming to the house. We'll have to talk to your father." And they started to hang up. I played the dead father card. My father's dead. Silence. I'm sorry. I just want to cancel the appointments and all the medication. I can do that. Sometimes you just need to know how to play your cards. The Lost Cafe. I didn't have much money, so I ordered the cheapest item on the menu. I ordered the kids' portion of French toast. I was brought a pile of blueberry pancakes with ice cream on the side. I ordered a small side dish of home fries, and I received a plate of grilled steaks, sausages, and bacon, which the waitress said came with a large plate of home fries. I ordered a small orange juice, and I was given a large pitcher. I said I'd like a coffee, and the pot was brought over. I asked the waitress, "What's going on?" She said, "This is just how it is here." And I said, "I want to live here." Just then, my alarm clock went off. I awoke to a cold kitchen. I found I was out of eggs. The milk was sour. The mice had gotten into the cereal. Looking out the window, I couldn't even see the corner store because of the snow and the white curtain from the howling wind. That wouldn't have stopped me, but my wallet was empty. I went back to bed. I laid there, and I closed my eyes tightly, knowing I was never going to find that cafe again.
Yeah.
With the internet and all this stuff, people send you photos or things come before you. And so I decided to write this, I love the photo. Yes, I love the photo. I mean, I fell in love with the photo. With the photo, I mean, I fell in love with the woman in the photo. I mean, I don't even know the woman in the photo. So can I say I fell in love with her? I'm telling you, Bert, I fell in love with the image of the photo. I've seen the image in many, many movies. I mean, who is she really? I mean, why does she look like a different woman in each photo? In this photo, the light shines on her thick hair. I mean, is it the thickness of the hair, that I imagine getting my hands tangled in, or it is a long neck that she shows with a tilt of the head that I want to hold. There are other eyes, yes there are, these eyes are looking, she knows I'm looking. The cigarette that dangles is a prop. It's a way for guarding her lips. The look, I'm all over here, come on over here, tangle yourself in my hair, hold my neck as you bring your lips to mine. Oh, those eyes that know whether this is a stolen kiss or a kiss of devotion. There is a wildness in the whole picture, and the cigarette is the signal. I'm out on the town looking for some wildness. Let the jungle drums beat loudly. I mean, it's just a photo. I mean, it was a photo of a woman I didn't even know. I mean, why am I hearing jungle drums? And why am I dressing for a safari? I mean, it's just a photo. I kept looking at it. She's looking at me. All I'm trying to say is, I fell in love with the photo. And I'll end with this one. It's, since the things that have been going on, some friends in Massachusetts have heard this, but it's, who's your captain? Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Some passengers below deck have been complaining. Why are they standing ankle deep in water? The official statement is we're doing a deep soaking of the rugs, a thorough cleaning. Sorry for any inconvenience. Nothing to worry about. Go back to your rooms. Now that the water is lapping at your thighs and the lights have gone out, the ship seems to be on its side. Many of you are doubting the official statements that everything is okay. In your hearts, you know that everything is not okay. But as your captain, I want to remind you that it's my job to tell you everything is okay. Everything is okay. As a humanitarian, though, I feel compelled, unofficially, I would suggest swimming attire. Once in the water, look for anything that's floating to hold on to. I know lifeboats would have been nice, but there were budget cuts. Lifeboats for the economy class were the first to go. Actually, lifeboats for everyone is rarely the case. As your captain, I want you to know I'm aware that the boat is on its side, and for that very reason, I'm going ashore in one of the lifeboats reserved for me. I can guarantee that everything is going to be okay as soon as I get to shore. I will talk to our company experts who know how to present the facts so that it's obvious to any jury it is the passenger's fault. As your captain, I assure you everything is being done to protect the investors. Counter to the official statements that everyone has returned to their rooms waiting further instructions, many have fought their way to the deck. Some have found life jackets, and yes, everyone is jumping ship. For those of you still in your rooms, please remain calm. Practice holding your breath and await further instructions.